Hi Cancers, and welcome to your November 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about your energy coming in for the month of November. Very interesting as I'm looking at your spread. I like the honesty that your sign represents this month. I like the truth behind it. I like the aversion to fakeness. I like the hardworking mentality, the work ethic. I like the truth of it. Okay, so I'm seeing, as I've been doing a lot of the readings this November, that many people are kind of trying to suppress this Ten of Wands tower energy and being like, no, I can do it. I can do all these things. I can have my plate this full. I can keep everything together. I can stop my security from falling out from under me by taking on another job. I can do all this stuff and keep things smooth. It's not the case for your sign. It's not the case for any sign really this month. And your sign is seeing that. Okay, so Ten of Wands being one of the major cards of this year cycle. The Tower to a degree as well, at least as an interior symbol, because whereas a lot of people are not having that exterior collapse or are not having that, trauma on the outside, I think that a lot of people are internally traumatized right now and they're not letting it out, and they're playing kind of a facade or like kind of having a poker face about how they really feel. And you can probably see through this very quickly, as a Cancer is a very intuitive sign. Before I get too far ahead of myself, Cancers, as you know, if you're new, I'll break it down. I do intuitive messages for the month ahead. I do a week-to-week tarot spread, and then I do an extended reading on Patreon, which is linked below if you're interested. So continuing on with the intuitive messages, there is a shift in November, okay, for everyone, and a lot of us wanted to put it off. A lot of us wanted to wait a little bit longer to make this call. A lot of us wanted to kind of just ride a certain momentum indefinitely. We didn't realize it about ourselves, but we were trying to suspend and basically stagnate way more than we could have known. And November shakes it up a little bit. We've got T-squares, right, with the Uranus and Saturn and Sun and Mars, okay? Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. For Cancer, it's kind of not that severe, but it is difficult if you've got some of those other signs in your chart, and specifically if you have the philosophy that by working more or by trying harder or that by taking on more jobs or more uncompletable tasks that will fix it, okay? There's kind of a crumbling for a lot of people when it comes to overpacked life or overdone stuff. And that's specifically around the third week of November. However, I think that you can really set the momentum well, especially getting this reading in advance and kind of knowing about this in advance. So this is going to be one of the most creatively empowering months for you. Above any of these tendencies towards workaholism or trying to be too many places at once, your creativity is flowering, your confidence is growing, the quickness that you can accomplish things is growing, and you're no longer inhibited by that previous pessimistic mindset, Five of Cups reversed. Rather, the Wheel of Fortune is here, so it's showing that you're going to be taking on quite a new headspace or quite a new mindset about what you're involved in. You have 2 sixes in your reading, which says to me halfway point. It says to me kind of like the energy of a midlife crisis, when you're still young and you're still capable as a person, but a lot has changed and you have a different outlook. But nonetheless, you are still you, and you are still affected by your own karma for a long time. So there's kind of a switch over into a new way of being here, coming right in the very beginning of November. And there's also a discovery of like what it takes to fulfill your word. Also what it means to not fulfill your word or to not have honored a certain commitment Okay, whether you could be on either side of that, like someone might have not have honored a commitment to you, or if you haven't been able to follow through, that's very clear during this month. And now there is going to be a new level of follow through. Also, I think that as you follow through on things that you just kind of have to, almost as like house cleaning, there's got to be kind of a suspending of peace. When I say suspend, I mean like continuum, like not like stopping peace, but like making peace more of a center point of your life to combat the pointiness of the energy around you. There's something really pushy that I feel in the energy of Cancer right now. Indeed, you are a cardinal sign, which means you are progressively pushing forward more than people know. So that can become really pointy and really pushy, and I do think you've got to stretch it out because there is fixed energy as a constant right now, which means that pause and reflection, and even for some people, regression is where the universe is at right now. So some of you might know what it's like to be against the grain of the universe. And that's a lot like Ten of Wands and the Tower card. So we have kind of this choice, and thank goodness if you're getting this reading in October, to go with or against the grain. And I think that we have to kind of ride the momentum of what we created. Okay? I think that it's really important to do that instead of pushing against it so much. There are going to be times where we can change it or stop it or push it back. And I suppose in a way that can be regressive, like the energy here and now. But to stop something can be a very progressive action. Ha ha ha. Isn't that quite the thing to say? It really can. And I mean, it kind of is it's almost like a condition of progress to stop certain things. So, in fact, maybe it's not really proper to say that stopping or looking back is necessarily regressive. In fact, that can be a very progressive thing to do. So maybe it really is about more so being with the current for a Cancer right now and healing themselves through that so they can really step into this place that they want to be in the future. Final intuitive message before we get into the week to week. There's a lot of love for you, okay, as a Cancer person. And I'm not super understanding why this feels so difficult right now. It's almost like you have like you're not giving yourself the credit, or you're not giving yourself the love that others would if your fears materialized. So there's a fear-based decision-making process, I feel, for a lot of Cancers right now. And that's what I think has to change for you in November. That's what I think Scorpio season is doing for you, is it's going to be eliminating that fear, okay? And that can be a scary thing when we don't fear things anymore, especially if fear has become a big construct in our lives. When we don't fear something anymore, that's and we don't have that time, that habit of waking up in the morning afraid, that habit of going to sleep afraid, that habit of not knowing the answer to that problem because of fear. That opens up a lot of space. And it doesn't open up the type of space where you're like, okay, yeah, I can feel that with video games. I can feel that with unreal love. I can feel that with alcoholic beverages or something. It's not that type of opening. Like, the type of space this opens up is the space for true progress and true manifestation of desires that are so right for you. And if you try to fill it up with a bunch of flotsam and jetsam, a lot of filler experiences, definitely check out the November comprehensive video. I talked all about this. November on a collective level, Cancer aside, is about the elimination of filler. It's about the elimination of porky types of unnecessary things. So yes, a great month to trim off a few pounds if you've needed to, as I will be doing that as well. A great month to do that in a healthy way, right? Definitely, I am not a doctor. I can't advise you on that. Talk to a dietitian or something, but to, in a healthy way, eliminate unnecessary aspects of your life that are taking up space and contributing to an overall lack of health. Bam, I love the clarity of it. But that's what this is about, and the Tower is a great card to facilitate that. To me, Ten of Wands is like a lot of filler too. Like, it's just everywhere. It's like, and for those of you maybe considering to get injections of filler, okay, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend any taking on of any experience, like buying things you don't need, eating things you don't need, consuming things you don't need. Try to enjoy the presence of space. How beautiful. Not a lot of people have that luxury in 2021. We're going to start seeing that one of the biggest luxuries is the empty space, or the opportunity to just think in holistic and positive ways, in healthy ways, and not having to like fill our time with a lot of flotsam and jetsam, you know? Okay. And again, as a Cancer, it's like there's a tendency to hoard or to prepare or to stock up, which is not bad either. I mean, this time of year is really good to prepare in a needed or adequate way. But, I mean, this is just where the person who's really balanced and sober thrives, honestly. This is where the person who knows what they need thrives. And this is where the person who isn't struggling anymore with that perfectionism, with that OCD tendency, with that need to overcompensate or overwork or do anything to make more money, the person who's overcome those things thrives here. However, if we're still struggling with that, like about 99.9% of people are, it's going to just take some of it away, okay? It's going to be a good thing on the other side of it. But oftentimes, regardless of how abundant one is, one struggles to cope with anything being taken if it's not chosen. So that's here this month too. And it just depends on what side of it you want to fall on. So anyway, let's talk about your week-to-week Cancer. Did I already get into the week-to-week? I can't remember. I've gone off on so many tangents. Anyway, first week, the double six. Something has changed. Something is different about you. You're in a new space, okay? You're in a new energy one way or another. And that's good to acknowledge in the first week. There's also like a lot of things around you. There's a lot of things to balance. In all of the 6 cards, there's like a lot of objects and a lot of stuff to be working with. In the case of the 6 of Swords, it's like maybe having too many things sort of leeching energy out of you. So like maybe you're being too spendthrift. Maybe your budget is like being like overspending, I could see in this time. Also, I could see draining people. So being around like emotional vampires, there's kind of like a parasitic energy there, as there is for everyone, not just you, but Cancer is particularly sensitive to vampiristic people or parasitic people. So that might need to be solved in the first week of November. And it needs to be through confidence and through stature, and through good posture, not through conflict, not through anger. Okay. Week number 2, you've got the Page of Wands rooted down by the Knight of Swords. And that's a really good time to make progress on your creative ideas. What a nice period of time for fun. What a nice period of time for getting things right at the last second. What a nice period of time for enjoying and just like recovering your desires. Scorpio season is really nice for Cancer because it gives you emotional understanding of yourself. It can also lead to you being understood by others. That's less important, less vital, but one way or another, it leads you to like really get a window, a clear view into what you need and into what you want, aside from the desires of others, aside from even how you've been for a long time. So that's a lot of what week 2 is for you. Third week, 10 of Wands rooted down by the Tower. Sag season hits, and it's like suddenly we see it. It's like, why did I ever take on this much stuff? Why did I ever sign up to do this much? Why? There's a big why. As sometimes it takes us getting to this point to ever ask it in the first place. anything that falls through in the third week, anything that's not with you after the third week of November, it needed to go. Always know with the Tower, this isn't just like the universe playing games. This isn't just like the universe being like, I'm going to take something from that Cancer for fun. It's not like that. It's like it needed to go. That had to get going. That was going to be gross really soon. And it's always a blessing in a sort of backhanded fortune way. And I think it probably has something to do with how much you've taken on or what all is on your plate. Or, I don't know, if you're a self-employed person, I always see that with Ten of Wands. Like that one person is trying to handle all of that. So particularly for people who are self-employed or just for people who, you know, are workaholics as not self-employed or whatever, but it's like take on a little bit less and just know, like, I would prepare for the third week of November in advance, and I would maybe, if you have stuff due or if you have stuff you have to have done, like deadlines, then try to be working even from like now until then in a more sturdy way. But it's going to be fine. It's just like a major overhaul in the third week. Week 4, you've got 5 of Cups reversed, rooted down by the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, backhanded fortune again. It's like nonetheless, through going through this stressful experience, you have overcome a sadness. You're no longer sad about that breakup. You no longer are beholden to that person from the past. Like it's done something good for you, but it never took the 70-hour work week to get happy, okay? And it never really made you happy. It just maybe distracted you from a previous sadness. But can you now learn to let things go yourself instead of employing such harsh measures to overcome? Okay, let's talk more about that in your extended reading, Cancer, how to overcome without harshness, and also just see what else is coming up for you for the month ahead. If you want to check it out, click the link below and in the center of your screen. I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great month. Bye.